This is Michael Rodriguez from San Marcos, Texas, and welcome Michael. He's going to spend a day with us. Okay, David.
David Moore, Dallas Morning News. What's your comment on Ronald Jones' suspension, and does that impact his ability to make this team going into the season?
Well, I think like anything, when you have player acquisition, we obviously were aware of the situation, and when we support him, and we'll work through this. But as far as how the team's going to shake out, I mean, we have a lot of work to do, but we clearly understand, the rules that go with the suspension.
Clarence Hill, four-star Telegram. Do you need a veteran? I mean, obviously he's going to miss the first 2 games of the season. I know you brought him in because of his experience. Do you need to go out and look for a veteran to supplant what you have at running back?
Well, to me, that's really part of the training camp environment. Obviously he's still with us. And it's a young room. We knew that going in. So the development, of all those guys, so far has been impressive, and I thought that the running back group as a whole, had a solid day yesterday for particularly, a lot of the new things that we're asking these guys to do. Our protection, outlook is different than it was, the past 3 years. So there's more on those guys' plates. So, we'll just continue to develop the room.
Todd Archer. Thanks, man. Todd Archer with ESPN. With Deuce, how much is pass protection going to be what he needs to show you guys that he can handle physically?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he had a rep yesterday. He couldn't have done it any better. So, he had a, blitzer off the edge, and was excellent with his technique, and obviously used his leverage to his, as an asset. But yeah, I mean, it'll definitely be part of his responsibility. I mean, I don't think we want to put him back here all day in, particular matchups and so forth. But it's definitely part of playing the position.
Will Trevon Diggs rejoin, participate in practice today?
Yeah, I mean, the goal is for him to try to do a little more. So we'll work him through the individual, and then we'll see where we are.
Any update on Sam and Dorrance?
Sam is the goal is to get him out early, and he may do some individual, but we're going to try to work him in.
Dorrance?
No, he's saying he'll be with Britt today. So.
Rudy J. San Antonio Sports Star. Coach, does the lack of time and pads make you put more pressure on maybe playing guys more in the preseason?
Well, I think like anything, I mean, there's so many tools that are supported by research. So we got a couple goals that we're trying to hit through the preseason. Obviously the game opportunities and the ability for your roster development is critical, because I mean this is a very healthy 90-man roster. It's going to be very competitive. So that'll play a big part into really working backwards in developing this football team. So whether the stars are play or not, that's we'll see how the practices go.
Kyle Youmans, DallasCowboys.com. What was your first impression of the depth at offensive line through the first padded practice?
Well, I think I've done a really nice job because obviously we got some moving parts, and our numbers aren't. We're not full there, so I do like the flexibility, of some of the young guys that are playing. Tyron will do individual only, so which means there'll be some more opportunities for the young guys in the team periods. So, and this is, to me, is a big part of why we're here. I mean, we got to find out about these guys, and no one needs the full speed team reps more than our young players.
Micah Parsons seemed like he had a great day yesterday. What did you see from tape and in his battle with Tyron?
Well, impact. I mean, I think he had a normal day. He's very impactful, and I think just talking with him a bit, afterwards, he said, "I'll be better tomorrow." And the offensive side of me said, "Hell, I hope not." But I was glad to hear him put that emphasis on where he is and what he's trying to get done. But yeah, it was day one for all of us. I mean, the only the the department that won yesterday was the video department. You know, that was the best thing to come out of yesterday because it gave us great tape to teach off of. So it's just an illustration of it. It was day one in pads, and we have a lot of work to do.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. You mentioned a young running back room a little earlier. How much has Tony kind of changed or evolved now that he is sort of that main guy with Zeke gone, not only on the field but in that room?
Yeah, I mean, just like anything in this game, and it's, you know, part of your roster and locker room responsibility. You know, his leadership responsibility has increased, and the most important part of it is that he's doing it within his personality. So I think Tony's done an outstanding job, you know, because also, you know, he's been coming back off a major injury. So we're still working him in. He won't be 100% today, but, you know, we'll increase his reps a little bit. But yeah, I think he's done a great job of being the leader, you know, the veteran in the room.
How do you assess overall your first day of work in pads? Was it about what you expected? Would you have a little bit more to do as far as you went through some of the things you're looking for in that first practice?
Well, I'll say this. I mean, there's always a lot of hype into the pads and so forth, and I think sometimes in reflection, you know, there potentially some wasted emotion there, but, you know, you have to learn to practice together, you know, and that definitely wasn't clean yesterday. And, you know, we had some situations that, you know, were cleaned up in the offensive and defensive unit meetings, you know, just, you know, particularly, you know, player safety, practice ethic. You know, you really have to start over each and every year because you have new, you know, 25% of your team is at least it wasn't there last year. So you know, you have to learn to practice together. You know, the most important part is when you get a teammate in a compromised position, you know, you don't take that shot. You don't compromise his position any worse than it is. So just a lot of those little things, which is frankly normal. I don't know if I've ever stood in front of a team before the first day or after the first day and make corrections. You know, and just the way the drills are set up. You know, just keeping it clear. You know, everybody's excited. Everybody wants to get closer to the action, but it's you know, it's all conducive to what the practice looks like, and it definitely wasn't clean. So you know, we addressed it, and I'm confident it'll be better today.
Like, when's the last time you had defensive line depth like this?
Oh shoot. Yeah, I don't recall, you know, this deep. Yeah, I'd say this is clearly the most depth I've ever had as a defensive line.
You know, you didn't have Sam yesterday and everything, and you still were able to bring. Maybe as the OC, you didn't like this much, but
yeah, no doubt, no, I love it. I mean, we can't get enough work. I mean, this is a perfect illustration why we're not practicing against other teams. I think we, you know, the offense and the defense we will challenge each other at a very high level. So, you know, and you can see that we got off to a pretty good start with that yesterday.
Mike Brancham, Cowboys Radio. The changes in the offense, how do they either challenge or suit the two backup quarterbacks?
Well, I think, you know, number one, you know, Cooper has a great understanding of the offense. He's, you know, his cerebral is, you know, I put him, you know, top, you know, way up there of guys I've worked with. So I think the added responsibility that we put on the quarterbacks in protection, you know, I think him and Dak have really grabbed a hold of that, and I think Will's doing a good job of it too. So, but yeah, I think the opportunity to, you know, play in the passing game and have a chance to grow from, you know, what we thought we did last year, and I think it, you know, it helped any quarterback. So they put the work in. They have a clean understanding of the season. So I would, if you know, it's a great question for them. I would think they're really enjoying playing in this system. It's a quarterback-friendly system.
Mike, Bill Coates, 92.1 FM, Team Sports Radio. Could you talk about Jalen Tolbert's development after, I guess, what would be called a disappointing rookie year, and how far he's come this year?
Well, I think Jalen, you know, like a lot of these young guys, you know, opportunity sometimes is not quite what it could have been, or maybe, you know, in the factors that go into that. But, you know, I don't recall a day that he hasn't been there since the season's. I mean, he has been in the weight room, you know, getting as much work as he possibly can. I think he's done a really good job of putting in extra time with the quarterbacks, so you can see that connection developing. And at the end of the day, you know, every player that goes from year one to year two, you're looking for, you know, for that guy to make the jump. I think he's running his routes with a lot more physicality. I've seen some improvement at the breaking point of routes, and and at the end of the day, it comes down to confidence. So I think he's got off to a nice start.
Michael Coleman, KLTV, Tyler. Coach, what excites you about your receivers and the depth of that core?
Well, I think the big thing is, I like the balance of veteran versus young guys. And I think we have some young guys that are, that have been impressive, and I'm going to continue to watch. We got one-on-ones today, so we'll see how some of them handle that. And that's something I've always looked for. When you talk about balance, I think we have a really good balance between youth and experience, and I think our experienced receivers are doing a really nice job of mentoring the younger guys. So I think we clearly have more overall speed in the group than we've had the last couple of years. So utilizing that and the time clocks of how they're tied to the quarterback, it's been a huge emphasis. And I think so far, we're seeing the urgency in that. As the discipline in the stems of the routes, the releases. We play against an aggressive defensive secondary that puts your hands on you, quite a bit, and that's what we want, because you go play the best defenses. You're not going to get a bunch of free access all day. So the training's been good, and but I think the room's definitely developing.
Mike Leslie, WFA. Coach, your top 3 wide receivers, with the addition of Cooks, with Gallup, I imagine anyway, hopefully being a step better than he was last year coming back off the ACL tear. How have you seen that group come together, and what do you expect from these top 3 wide receivers? Well,
I think stepping off the answer I just gave. I think once again they got a really good balance of youth and veteran. I think the route running. The route running should improve every year. The longer you're in the system, the quarterbacks and receivers should develop a better connection. So I think what we're emphasizing, based off of what we saw the last 2 years, I think they're doing a good job of putting the work in. They obviously put the work in, over the 5 weeks off. So I was very impressed with that. I think definitely the communication between the group is really good right now. So we're in install phase. So we're going to be challenged each and every day this week, and in the Monday next week, of just basically playing with a different game plan, every day. So I really want to see how they apply that to their route discipline, their time clocks, their stems, their releases, and particularly their contact balance in the competition for the football. I think their connection is really high.
Cowboys.com. Coach, 7th round pick Jalen Brooks. He's had a couple of great outings out here. What have you liked about Jalen?
Very impressive. I'm excited to see him even more in today. I think when you look at him, he's definitely has the structure and stature that you look for in the red zone. So this will be a day where the one-on-ones and the space is tight. The holes are tighter. So the competitive throws are pretty much happening every time we throw the ball. So I think this definitely plays into his skill set.
Good? Yeah. Everybody good?
Oh, John Michelle of The Athletic. Why did you bring back the mojo moment, and how did you feel it went yesterday?
I mean, it was good. I think that it's like anything, it breaks it up. I think it's like everybody's trying to do right now. There's such an emphasis on situational football, and when we're all creatures of habit. So when you go to team, it's first down, second down, third down. So the ability just to spring a situation on them and just have them play, free of mind, and where it's not scripted. So I mean that's really the focus of it. I love the movie too, but thank you.